Greetings, y'all. Welcome back to LYTE Conversations, where we bring light to dark situations. Come on, talk that talk. All right, you're rocking with your boy, man. If you don't know me, my name is Nishatti. And to the right of me, I got my boy, John, no spaces.
I don't know.
We done coined that as his name. It's John, no spaces.
Soon I'm going to be like Cher. So you just be like, Juh.
Right.
I'm just going to have like just a sound. Juh. Hey, guys, I'm Juh.
Right.
How do you spell that? Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you. Hey, guys, thanks so much for subscribing. We hit the #1 on iTunes all time.
Come on.
I'm just kidding. I'm just yeah. This is episode 2.
He's speaking into existence,
y'all. Putting it out there, fruition. Right. You know, episode 2. We're excited to be back.
Yeah,
we're ready.
Man, John, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling.
Whoo, man, I'm pumped up, dog.
I was gonna say living the dream, but then we had to go back to the soapbox from last episode.
We're back to the soapbox.
Yeah, here we are. I carry it with me. Everywhere I go, the soapbox is just with me.
My man, okay. So did you know, before we get going, did you know that most podcasts shut down before the 10th episode?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think it's either 70 or 90% of podcasts shut down before the 10th episode. So we got to make it past 10, bro. We got to make it past 10.
9 out of 10 businesses fail. So,
for real?
Yeah. So, I think that just goes, maybe this is a podcast episode, but it's like, I think most people have a good idea and they like starting something. But then the follow through is where it falls off the rails. But we got other things to get into today.
You're right.
So we put that down.
Sure, you're right.
But yeah, that's interesting.
Let's do it, John. All right, man, let's hop into it. Okay, today, y'all know what we talking about today? Today we want to talk about what are some things that all entrepreneurs should know before starting a business. Some things that all entrepreneurs should know before starting that business. So I'm going to let my boy tip it off. You know what I'm saying? Come with the tip off. Give me one of them things, John. What is a thing that all entrepreneurs should know before starting a business?
Well, first, what is this hoodie you're wearing here?
Oh, this old hoodie right here. Hey, this is brought to you by LYTE Conversations, where they bring light to dark situations. You know what I mean? LYTE stands for Let Your Truth Encourage. Merch will be available very soon. Hopefully by the time we drop this episode. You feel what I'm saying?
I love how it just immediately went infomer. You said, listen, this is actually the LYTE Conversations. Like immediately went into
sponsors. Whenever you need us, you know we coming. You know we got you. We got you.
I think the first thing, and this sounds like, kind of common sense or whatever, but it's like the first thing before starting a business is like, should you be starting that business, right?
Ooh.
So there's a book called Scale.
Okay.
Super good. It's written by a guy named David Finkel, who owns a consulting business, and then the same guy that helped Priceline get off the ground.
Okay.
And they talk about finding your parking space. And so what that means is like, what is your niche that you're going to do that's different than any other competitors that are out there?
Right.
And so so when you ask business owners now, it's like, hey, what makes you different? They're always going to be like, well, customer service. Like, no, like, unless you're Zappos or something like that, where it's like your customer service is like well known.
Or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're going to really die on that hill, then like really die on that hill. But you got to figure out what you're doing. What product or service or whatever can you offer the marketplace that's not currently being filled by other people? So, maybe that's like, hey, you want to be a car washing detail where they like come to you and you're the cheapest guy on the block.
Right,
or maybe it's like, hey, you want to be like out there like, called like white glove, whatever. It's like you literally have white gloves like going like this and going, look, there's no dirt. But you got to find something.
Okay.
So like there has to be a need that you can solve, and you can solve that need better than somebody else is currently doing it in the marketplace.
Ooh, my man's dropped. I'm going to snap it up. My man just dropped the Jimmy Jim. Okay. Man, something I think all entrepreneurs should know before starting a business is nobody's going to work hard as you.
That's good.
And guess what? This is the second part. And you shouldn't expect them to.
I was just about to say that.
You should not expect them to, man. It is your vision. Like, it is being given to you. It was not given to them. They're working for you. And that's how fine and dandy. And you may find some people who work very, very hard. But do not expect anybody to work as hard as you, because it's your dream, and you should never expect them to. Like, so I'm thinking about. I'm trying to give an example. So I'm thinking about the time when we went on tour. I think we did like 40 shows in like 45 days. It was something crazy, right? But the whole entire tour, I footed it all. You know what I'm saying? From buying the van to wrapping the van, to buying all the merch, to driving. Like, I didn't trust nobody driving at night. You know what I mean? I wasn't putting my life in their hands. I've almost been ran into the mountains many a times before. So I'm like, not only am I performing, like I'm the performer, but I'm hopping right on the stage, like fresh out of my. It's been multiple times I hopped on the stage, fresh out of my sleep. But guess what? I never made no excuses. Why? Because it was my dream, not theirs. It was given to me, not them. You know what I mean? So don't expect anybody to work as hard as you for your dream because it's your dream.
I'd also say like don't like nobody's gonna understand you either. Right? So like other than like business owners, people just do not understand what it's like to have the pressures of growing a business or starting a business or carrying a business or whatever stage of business that you're in, because there's different stages.
Right.
It's like people just do not, like, you can't go home and talk to your wife or your spouse or, you know, your whatever about like the struggles that you have on a daily basis of like not only carrying like your family's like financial burden, you know, but then like the financial aspects of like all of your employees and their families and like all of the people they touch, right? Or it's like it's just I mean, and you can go all the way down with that. Like you can get super, you know, like tiny with that, with granular is the word I was looking for. With it's like it's your money. So it's like people aren't going to, so, you know, they're going to be like, oh, well, we forgot the, you know, blank. So let's just go and buy a new blank because it's not their money. Right. So it's just, they just don't think that way. And it's like, if you're not careful, kind of to your point, is like you can get super resentful with that and be like, oh, listen, I'm putting in 100+ hours. I haven't paid myself in 4 months and blah, blah, blah. But these guys are putting in checks. Yeah, that's true. But you can't get resentful. Like it's your baby. It's your business, you know?
There you go.
But then on the flip side of that, though, this is the problem.
Okay.
Is like you go through all those struggles and you never talk about. And they talk about like the you know, the messy middle is what it's called.
Right.
So everybody wants to talk about how you started a business and everybody wants to talk about how you sold a business.
Yeah.
Right? But nobody wants to talk about the messy middle where you're not sleeping at night. You're just praying to God, trying to figure out how to pay these employees so they don't leave you. Or it's like, hey, you have this job and you're like, you don't have any money to fix it because you guys messed it up. But like, and then there's like all this stuff. It's the messy middle. And it's just nobody wants to talk about that. So you go through your early stages as a baby business, right? You're not paying yourself. You haven't paid yourself in months.
Exactly.
Right? You're putting in more work than anybody. You're sitting there. You're sleeping on the couch. You're like just praying to God that the next job comes through. And that happens all the time. Right? But then after you actually stick through that, so you made it through. So now you're out of the 1 out of 10 businesses that actually succeeded, and you actually made it where you can make yourself some money. So then now everybody comes out of the woodwork and go, wow, look at him. He's so lucky. He doesn't put any time in or any work in, and he's getting paid more than all of us. You're like, well, okay, well, where were you when I was doing all these other things?
Exactly.
You know, so anyway.
That reminds me of TD Jake's story. He said, you can't judge me coming in at the end of the story. Where was you at the beginning of the movie? Don't talk to me at the end of the movie. Talk to me in the beginning. Talk to me, like you said, the nights I didn't get any sleep. Talk to me the nights I had to argue with my spouse because I was putting in too much time with my baby, with my business, and she wanted me in the bed. Or talk to me the time when I was putting it all on the line, all of our savings. You know what I mean? Because I believed in this vision so much and it was given to me, like I wasn't going to expect anybody else to do it. So I knew that at the end of the day, I had to get it done. So don't come talking to me at the end of the story talking about we work twice as hard as you. Nah, you work twice as hard as I do now because I set it up that way. I designed that way. Where were you before we had systems in place for you to even know? How did you even get here? How did you even know how to even run the baby? Because I went through the hard stuff. I took many financial losses. I lost a lot of sleep. Put a lot of people in place. You know what I'm saying? Got stole from. They don't see the messy middle. Back to your point, the messy middle.
Firing your best friends. Like these are all things that happen, right? So it's like if you weren't there with me in the beginning, don't pretend like you understand me with the end.
You know, that's that talk.
So I mean that's something that I think all entrepreneurs should know.
Yeah, I was I was with you right there. I was with you. I don't even know if I can't even go in because it was pretty much the same thing you was going to say.
Well, say it again.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say.
Say it for the people in the back.
It's lonely. That's what I was going to say. It's lonely. Like, I know that you have a spouse, but it's lonely. I know that you have best friends.
Yeah, you don't know.
But it's lonely.
They might not be married.
True that. You might have
a girlfriend. Don't put your aspirations on them.
You sure right, though. Hey, let me talk to the people. Listen, I know you may have somebody that cares for you. But it's lonely. You may have a mother, father, sister, brother. Somebody in your family cares for you or a friend that cares for you, right? But at the end of the day, they can love you as much as they want. They can even be your ace boogie, but they won't understand. Some things you don't understand until you go through it.
I think the other thing too that like kind of ties in with that is you have to have like a why, like why you're doing it, why you're starting a business, why you're, pursuing all of this, because it's hard work, and like you're saying, it's lonely.
Yep.
And so you're going to look around if you don't have like a strong why or like what your goals are that you actually want to be doing, you're going to look around and go, I don't have anybody here.
Yep.
I don't have anybody helping me.
Yep,
what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Right.
And so if you can't tie that back to like a greater vision or a greater purpose or your why or whatever, then like you're just going to fold.
Yeah.
And so I would just make sure that like whatever you do, if you're going to start a business, like know your parking space.
Ooh.
Know the role that you're filling in the specific area that you're doing, or whatever you're offering the world. But like also like why are you doing it?
That's a good. Oof.
If you're just doing it for money, you can do any number of things for money.
That's a fact.
That's
a fact. You can work for somebody else for money.
Yeah, you can work for somebody else, and you can like go through. It's less lonely. There's less uncomfortability.
Yep.
There's so many other ways.
You have a safety net.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that can't be it.
Right.
So if it's not money, what is it? So like most people actually start a business because they are bad employees, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
They're bad employees. They're like, hey, I don't want to work for anybody, so I want to make more money, and I want to make my own schedule. Well, they talk about like, you can make your own schedule. You can pick any 100-hour work week you want.
Yeah.
You can pick whatever 100 hours a week you want. You're not going to be clocking in at like 7, leaving at 8. Get out of here. Yeah. At least not for a while.
Good luck, Chuck. Good luck.
So if that's it, if it's schedule and if it's money, those are your core things, then you're going to fold like a...
Ooh, like closing a basket.
Now, I hope you had an analogy because I didn't have... I ran out real quick. So
like
just make sure you have a why. You make sure you have a bigger purpose, a reason for actually starting a business beyond just monetary gains or like controlling your own schedule. Because for a long time, you're going to have neither of those things.
Gosh, let it breathe, y'all. Let it breathe. And just going back to the it's lonely part, just remember this and go into it with this attitude so you don't leave resentful. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is coming to save you.
True.
I walk into every situation I do just like that. It's just like, if somebody comes and helps along the way, man, I'm so grateful.
Yep.
Why am I grateful? Because I wasn't expecting anybody to come save me in the first place. Yep. Like I was prepared to do each and every job. Like us doing these cameras, like us being on the show right now, right? It's from me doing camera work, doing video work back when I didn't have anyone to shoot our music videos. I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'll figure it out. I'm not the best, but I will do it. I'm a willing vessel. Until I find somebody else to do it, we gonna knock it out by any means necessary.
I also think that like if you don't have that mentality just in general, like in life, like just to be honest with you, this is a very dark episode by the way, but you're not going to be successful, right? Like if you don't have the like just because there's some people out there that like are like, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to like start my own business, I want to do all this thing, but they can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag, right? Like there's just like if there's any type of adversity, they're like, well, I'm done.
Yep.
And if you don't have that, like just that mindset where it's like, it does not matter what life or business or anything throws at me. I'm just going to figure it out.
Ooh.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to figure it out. If you don't have that, or if you can't like figure out how to do that, then just fold it up now and go get a corporate job. No, I'm serious.
That's real though. That's real talk. That's real talk.
Very dark episode though.
No, but it's getting real though. It's getting real in the field. It just brought me one I didn't even think of before. It was just like something you should know before starting your own business is try to find somebody who is doing what you're doing and then go work for them. Yeah. Go work for them because guess what? They're already doing what you're doing, right? What you want to do, right? But at least you got a safety net. So you get to try, you get to drive the car as long as you want without buying it.
It's not bad.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, then you get into it and then you get to ask questions. Hey, John, okay, so I see you got epoxy flooring. So what all goes into this? Do you do this yourself? What kind of floors are there? How do you get clients, etc.? Because then you get a whiff of it. Then you're like, okay, maybe this ain't all it's cracked out to be. Maybe it's not for me. Yeah. So you get a chance to kind of try it out.
And don't be shady about it. Don't be like trying to start something and then go start a competitor business like in the same space. Too,
right. Oh, that's
so
true.
like another thing is I owned a flipbook business, and so it's kind of like a photo booth. So you go to weddings and events like that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a photo booth, it would flip out or it would print out in a bunch of pictures, and you flip the book, and then all of a sudden you're like acting out stuff.
Right.
About 8 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And so what I did was there's a company in Dallas. We're in Tulsa, so it's 4 hours away, and I called them up and I said, "Hey, can I pick your brain? I'll pay you for your time." Right. So like they're not coming to Tulsa. They don't have any interest in coming to Tulsa. So I'm not a competitor.
Right.
But they've already done it.
That's
so
true.
why not pay them for their time? And most people actually, if you just offer to pay them for your time, they're not going to take it. But but it separates you from everybody else that's asking them stupid questions all the time, right? So it's like, hey, listen, I want an hour of your time, and I'll pay you $500, $1,000, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, any type of money, they're going to go, okay, well, this person's serious,
right?
Because you don't value what you don't pay for, right? So it's like reason why like free schooling, like I don't want to get
Go ahead.
Like, the reason why like free schooling will never work is because you don't value it because you're not losing anything.
Yep.
Right. So if schooling is handed to you or anything is handed to you, then you're just like you're going to put that in the back burner because you're not losing anything if you don't take advantage of it. Right. So if you go up to somebody that you're like, hey, you're really successful in these specific areas, I would like to pick your brain.
Yep.
Offer to pay them.
Right.
And I can I'd bet you whatever you're going to offer them that they're not going to take your money. But they will take your call now because they're going to go, okay, this person's serious. You know?
Exactly.
So do that. 100% do that. Like if you think that you want to get into like a mobile oil changing business, which I think there's a lot of money in, by the way, we can talk about that off camera. Anyway,
okay, yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for sure.
But you're like, hey, I want to be in the mobile, oil.
It's not cooperating.
The mobile oil changing business. Then like go to a mechanic and go, hey, can I just shadow you for a day? I'll pay you. Or it's like, hey, can I just like pick your brain about the hardest parts about your business? But like have all your questions written down too. Like if you get like an hour of somebody's time that's successful, they're giving up their hour, which at this point because they're successful, they already recognize that time is the most valuable commodity
for sure. So
then they're going to give that to you. So don't waste their time by just not even having planned out questions. So literally write them down.
Yep.
And so then now all of a sudden that separates. So you've already offered to pay them. And they're like, okay, I'm going to take you seriously.
Yeah.
But then you have all your questions written down. They're like, okay, he's prepared or she's prepared.
Yep.
And so it's like it automatically separates you. And then even if you're like, hey, I'm going to ask for 10 minutes of your time. I'll pay you $100 for 10 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
And you come in and you're prepared and you have your questions written out, guaranteed it's more than 10 minutes. You get more than 10 minutes. And guaranteed they don't ask for that $100.
Right.
So you just got to separate yourself, which is what you have to do in business anyway, but you have to separate yourself from everyone else, whether it's the competition of business or whether it's everybody that actually wants to ask questions and not actually implement them because there's a million of those people, right? So everybody that owns a business on the daily gets questions about, well, how do I be successful?
Right.
And then you can tell as a business owner, like the moment somebody asks you that and you start speaking, they just like kind of like glaze over. Their lights go off is what I always say. It's like you can just see the lights go off and you're like, now I'm wasting my time.
Yep.
So then you just wrap that conversation up quick because it's not worth your time and you move on. You're not a church. Right? So if you're the opposite of that and you're taking notes, you're sitting there, you have all your questions written down, then like they're going to spend more time with you. They're going to actually give you more information than just like the pre-written stuff that they have at the top of their head.
Yep.
Yep.
So. I heard that it was a quote that's going right along with what you said. He said, don't be addicted to education and allergic to execution. You just want to keep hearing, feed me more, John, feed me more. Okay, tell me about how you started that business. Okay, tell me how you grew it. Okay, tell me, no. All right, start implementing some of these things. Like you figured out enough. Some things you're not going to figure out until you put your toe in that water. You have to step your foot in that water to kind of see how deep the waters truly are. You know what I mean? Somebody can only tell you so much because their experience may be slightly different from your experience. But at the end of the day, like if somebody is giving you a blueprint, like you said, make it worth their time. And like another quote I'm thinking of right now when you were speaking, Neil Davis said, if you don't pay attention.
Yep.
You don't pay attention. It's like somebody giving you a house. Like when the grandmother passes away and gives the grandkids the house or the kids the house, what's the first thing they do? Sell it.
Trash or sell it.
Sell
they
it.
just don't value it.
But they ain't thinking about how Grams took all 30 years to pay that house off or what can be done with that investment because they didn't take the time to pay for it. But once you pay for that house, I'm going to be like, oh, Grams want to do what? oh no, if we fix this up, the after repair value of that home can be such and such and such. But because you didn't pay, you ain't paying attention.
Yeah. I also think that like most people that I know, there's very few people in the world trying to play footsies with me over here. Most people in the world like that are entrepreneurs, they've already gone through what you're going to go through, right?
Yep.
So they want to give you a hand, right? Because like they understand it's lonely, it's going to get rough.
For
like
sure.
They've already been through it, right?
Yep.
So they want to give it to you. But they also are not going to waste their time with people that aren't going to execute things. So most people will like give you some type of advice. And if you do nothing with that, then I can guarantee you that they just write you off. I know for a fact, like I know I have a very specific person in mind.
Okay.
That just asks me questions all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And I give them the same answer every time. And then there comes to a point where it's like, you're just asking to ask questions. You're not actually implementing anything.
You must want to just talk to me.
Yeah. No, I do. Because you're stealing my time.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so I could literally just take let's just say I spent an hour a week for 4 weeks talking to this one person.
Yep.
Okay. That's 4 hours I could give somebody else that could change their life if they actually implemented it.
That's a fact.
And that's not just like that's not me like being cocky and be like, oh, 4 hours a week I can change somebody. Like, get out of here.
No, I get what you're saying.
But I'm just saying, like, whatever. If somebody is successful in any area,
right,
and you're asking their opinion, then either do something with it or just realize that you don't respect them enough to actually be asking their opinion in the first place. Anyway,
why don't people think like that?
I think most people just don't value time. So execution is difficult.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like, so I could tell you exactly how to like go and start a business from a linear perspective.
Right.
There's a lot of like messy middle stuff in there that you're probably not willing to do. It's just trade-offs. So it's like, okay, I want to start a business. Okay, well, pick your parking space. We talked about that. Like understand this is going to be rough. We talked about that. But then it's like, okay, now you get to go home and tell your spouse that you're going to take $20,000 out of your account and start some kind of franchise.
You don't want to do that. Can we take out $20,000, Amber?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Or it's like, hey, I did it for a week and I realized that I'm not going home till 10 p.m. at night. And my wife's calling.
Ooh.
And you don't want to have that conversation. Or like, and I'm not beating up spouses here. It's
no,
like,
not at all.
Hey, I just hired my best friend because they're my best friend because they're available, right? Because they're my boy, they're my best friend.
Yep.
Oh, I just realized that he's stealing from me. Or maybe not even that extreme. Maybe it's like I just realized that because he's my best friend,
he's comfortable.
He's comfortable and he's not doing the quality that I need.
Yep.
But I don't want to have to pull him aside and say, hey, I need you to pull up your quality. Because what is it going to do to our friendship? I'm not willing to have that conversation.
Yep.
So it's like, so everybody starts a business with good intentions. Everybody starts out with like, hey, I'm going to change the world.
Yeah.
Whatever the business is.
For sure.
But then it's like, it comes off the rails real quick when it's time for those uncomfortable conversations.
So let's talk about the uncomfortable conversations. If you were, let's say you hired your friend, best friend, family member, what type of conversations need to happen, up front so you can savor that relationship? Because we've both have talked about it, behind, just amongst us. Is like we've lost friends within doing business and this entrepreneurship thing because it gets sticky and the uncomfortable conversations aren't had until it's an uncomfortable time. And then it's like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, I think this is going to tie into the next episode that we're going to get into.
Hey, you ready for it?
That talks about like why you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. But I think to answer your question about like, how do you structure it if your spouse or your friend comes in the business, and like how do you structure it where it's like business is business and like personal is personal?
Yep.
You can say that all day long. It's not going to happen for most people. Like they're just not going to.
It's tough.
And I also think here's my soapbox. I'm going to get like an actual soapbox and bring it just so I can stand up on it.
When it's time, it's time.
Yeah. We're going to get like a taller mic just for that space. No, I think there's there's a certain sexiness that we as a society has put on working with your spouse, right? So it's like, hey, if you're an entrepreneur, like it's a husband and wife team, do it, grow it together.
Right.
Like,
yep.
And I'm not saying that like if you do that, like you're gonna fail or anything like that. I'm just saying that I don't think most spouses should work together.
Okay. Ooh.
I don't.
Ooh wee.
Because most people cannot separate the two. So like I am, and I'm kind of a nut this way, but it's like I can fight with you today about anything.
Yep.
So like let's say we were doing this podcast. Let's say you and I were at the office together. We're working together. We're at the office.
Right.
One of us screwed something us, and we just get in a yelling match.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 20 minutes later, we got to come here and record this podcast.
Ooh.
I leave it at the door.
Facts.
Right.
Ooh,
and I have
real,
that ability, but most people don't.
That's so real.
And especially with spouses.
Yep.
So it's like, so you're going to be all day at the office, and you're going to start fighting about something because let's say that she's the boss at the house, but you're supposed to be the boss at the office. Well, that doesn't work.
It's cross-contamination.
Right? So then all of a sudden you're going to start bickering. Then you're going to go home, and you're going to bring it home with you.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about, like, don't bring your homework, your work home with you.
Yep.
But 100% going to do that.
About what you said in the office. Hey, let's talk about what you said in the...
So now all you're sudden mad while you're, like, cooking dinner together.
Right.
And about something that, like, an employee did or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And so I would just say it's like, yeah, you can do things. Like, there's logical things you could do, but, like, pull your friend aside and go, hey, listen, I'm going to hire you, but I don't ever want this to come between us. Business is business. Personal is personal. You know, let's talk about, like, let's just make sure that we have these ground rules.
Okay.
But
is it
most
doable?
people cannot do it.
Yeah.
And I know right now, like, everybody sitting here watching this, everybody listening to this is going to go, well, I have a boy, and I think we could do it. No, you can't.
If you want that relationship, get a super understanding, get it in writing, or just don't do it at all. Honestly, man. It's just don't do it.
And I also,
if you can help it.
It's easier to me. I think it's a lot easier and stronger and healthier to have a relationship, like a friendship, after you've built the business relationship. So it's like,
okay.
Because it's like, to me, the reason why I think, here I go preaching. I'm going to start sending these to my grandpa.
Get them, player.
But no, I think the reason why, like, you start with your friends and then you bring them into the business because they're available. They're your boys. They're your people. You have a little bit of trust for them.
For sure.
But to me, when you see somebody work, their work ethic is directly related to their character. Right? So, like, how you do things when push comes to shove is what your heart is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So then now all of a sudden you're doing work together with people that you've known for 17 years. And you're like, all right, cool, let's do this. And then you realize, like, they don't do things the way I would do them. Their character is not the same as mine.
Yep.
So then now all of a sudden it puts a strain on that. Versus the other way around where it's like if you are doing a business and somebody is coming up with you and you're like, hey, you're a hard worker. You're going to be there when you say you're going to be there.
Yep.
You're going to keep your word. You're going to do the job right. Then all of a sudden, I know your character. So why wouldn't I want to build a friendship with that?
Right.
So to me, like, the business relationship turning into a friendship is so much stronger than the other way around.
I never even thought about it that way. Is that... Well, I'm trying to think about us. Is that how we... I mean, obviously, I met you in the business, right? Yeah. But I feel like it quickly formed. But to get to this, though, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Right. It took... Through the business, through consistency, through constantly seeing, okay, oh, he's a grinder. Oh, he's a grinder. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he gets it in. Oh, he keeps his word.
Right.
Oh, we don't even get to the word thing because most people don't keep their word.
No.
Like, some people talk just because they got lips. You know what I mean? Like, don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. If you say it, please do it. Please do it. But no, that is real,
Don't be
though.
that frog. You know, they have frogs now.
You said what?
That's like a thing going around. It's like frog pronouns.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I don't know what they were, but
I'm not even going to dive into that.
I'm just saying.
I'm not even going to dive into that one.
Now we're hip.
We're with it now. Into that one. Yeah, but that's real. I'm sorry, y'all. He put me to a daze because I wasn't expecting that. I've never actually heard nobody say that before. So but that's true though, because now I know what to expect when I'm getting into business with you. Whether it's a partnership, whether you're working for me, I'm working for you. I know exactly what to expect because I've seen you grind day in and day out, year after year, or whatever the case may be. Man, take that golden nugget.
I think, I mean, to kind of wrap up the episode is like, what should all entrepreneurs know before starting a business is like, okay, just know what you're actually going to fill, like what products or service is going to fill the marketplace that is actually solving a need that people have, right?
Yep.
Then make sure that you understand that's going to be lonely, but then directly tied into that is like, just make sure that like you know who you're surrounding yourself with, right?
Ooh.
So it's like, you're going to be lonely. You're going to be the one like pulling all the all-nighters. You're going to have all the difficult conversations, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like those first couple employees, whenever you get to a place where you can actually afford your first employee, like that person can either accelerate your business or burn it down real quick. So I think those are the things that people should know. But next episode.
Okay, what are we going to do in the next episode?
We're going to talk about the reasons why people shouldn't be an entrepreneur.
Hold on, why they shouldn't be an entrepreneur?
Should not.
So we doing a podcast.
Yeah, an entrepreneurship podcast.
About entrepreneurship. But we about to tell you why you shouldn't be an entrepreneur.
We're going to do it.
Well, if y'all don't tune into this, man, you know it's about to get really real up in this thing, man. I think John closed it out with excellent closing remarks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do it no better. I'm not even going to try to, y'all. We appreciate you. You got anything else, John?
No, sir.
Man, we over and out, man. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We just mentioned some things that all entrepreneurs should know before starting a business. LYTE Conversations, and we out.